Ismaïla Sarr is set to leave Watford this summer, according to reports from Adam Leventhal at The Athletic. We'll dive into all the latest Watford news in just a moment. But first, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Let me know your thoughts on Ismaïla Sarr's imminent departure from Watford in the comments section, and turn on the notification bell so you get notified whenever I go live or upload in the future weeks. Hello and welcome back to the Watford Way. Today we're going to be talking all things Ismaïla Sarr, and some massive news has come out recently from The Athletic, basically suggesting that Ismaïla Sarr is on his way out of Watford this summer. I think as Watford fans, we all kind of expected his departure to come at some point. There's really big rumours last summer around Everton, Aston Villa, Liverpool have been linked in previous transfer windows as well, but it seems like now the time has come for Ismaïla Sarr to leave Watford. And for me personally, I'm surprised it's not happened sooner. I think for me, the big thing is obviously Watford are still playing in the Championship at this current moment in time. And the aim at the moment is to try and get into them top 6 places to try and get to the player final and get promoted back to the Premier League. And hopefully Ismaïla Sarr can play a big part in doing that. However, I feel like Watford have missed an opportunity in potentially recouping a higher transfer fee for Ismaïla Sarr, because as I mentioned just a second ago, in previous summers he's been linked with much bigger clubs than Watford, likes of Liverpool, Everton, Aston Villa. We're all rumoured to be willing to pay big fees to Ismaïla Sarr. More recently, I think in the January transfer window, Everton were looking to pay between 20 and 25 million pounds for the Watford winger, which would have been a fantastic fee for Watford to receive. And unfortunately, we didn't take it. The season's kind of petered out. Obviously, we've got through 3 managers this season. And I feel like Ismaïla Sarr has just not lived up to expectations this season. And for me, Ismaïla Sarr has not really lived up to expectations in the entirety of his Watford career. A £30 million signing, the highest transfer fee the club have ever played for any player in their history. I'm trying to think of comparable signings, but you look at Isaac's success, 12.5 million. I think Pereira was around the £13 million mark as well. So Ismaïla Sarr is clearly the most expensive player Watford have ever brought. And don't get me wrong, he's had his moments. I mean, the West Brom goal earlier this season from the halfway line, he clearly showed his ability there. The famous game against Liverpool where we beat them 3-0 at Vicarage Road, Ismaïla Sarr scored a double in that game as well. And he's had really good performances for Watford. However, for me, he's not lived up to expectations. Is it the right time to let him go? I think it is. And you have to think about Watford's financial future as well. Obviously, there is the small chance Watford will get promoted this season if we get into the playoffs and win the player final. But you have to think as well, if that doesn't happen, Watford will be spending a second consecutive season in the Championship. The parachute payments from the Premier League get reduced, and Watford needs to find another way to bring income into the club. And a big player leaving may just do that. Now, for me, the question is, how much money can Watford make from the sale of Ismaïla Sarr this summer? Well, for me, it pretty much depends on what division we're in. Now, you have to remember as well, Ismaïla Sarr, regardless of the division Watford end up in the summer, he still only has 1 year left on his contract. It's been revealed in that article by The Athletic that contract negotiations stalled in the summer. And yeah, ever since then, contract talks between Watford and Ismaïla Sarr haven't really progressed at all, which means his contract is expiring in the summer of 2024, which puts Watford in a little bit of a precarious position. Obviously, we don't want Ismaïla Sarr to leave on a free transfer, because that means Watford would have outlaid a huge sum of money to bring him into the club and not recouped any from his sale. So I do think Ismaïla Sarr will definitely leave. What the transfer fee is, I'm not too sure. I think if Watford could get in the region of about 15 to 20 million pounds, I think that would be really, really good. And actually would allow the squad to be, would allow the money to be reinvested into the squad. Obviously, we don't know what the situation is going to be with Chris Wilder, but I think what the Watford squad needs is a complete revamp. We've already seen Dan Gosling get released from his contract. I know there's talks ongoing with Tom Cleverley around his contract situation as well. And you have to think, potentially 15 to 20 million pounds, that could bring in 5, 6, new players into this Watford squad to hopefully challenge for promotion the following season. So for me, the 3 questions are, should Ismaïla Sarr leave Watford this summer? Absolutely. What's the transfer fee we should be aiming to get for him? I think personally around 15 to 20 million pounds would be really, really good, especially if we don't get promoted. And the third question is, what would you do with that money? Well, I think, we need to reinvest it into the Watford squad, bring in some young, hungry talents who are keen to prove themselves at this level. And obviously the question remains around João Pedro as well. Will he stay at the club? What other players are going to look to leave as well? Is Imran Louza going to look to get a move in the summer? There's lots of questions that have to be answered. But in regards to Ismaïla Sarr, should he leave Watford this summer? I think personally, yes, he should. So let me know your thoughts on this whole situation in the comments section below. And actually, The Athletic are really, really reliable. So I would take everything that's been said in this article as truth, which is a shame. I think Ismaïla Sarr, for me, has had great moments at the club. But you look at the amount of managers he's had. I think at his time at Watford, since he joined back in, I think he joined in 2019, didn't he? I think we've had about 10 managers in that period of time. So Ismaïla Sarr has not really had a chance to settle at the club. But whatever happens, I wish him all the best in his future endeavours. And for me, he deserves to be at least at a club challenging for Europe, whether it be in the Premier League or abroad in another country as well. So thank you so much for watching. As I said earlier, please subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts on the Ismaïla Sarr situation in the comments section below, and turn on the post notification bell so you get notified whenever I go live or upload in the future weeks. And some big games coming up for Watford in the Championship in the coming weeks, and most notably against Luton Town after the international break. And we'll be covering that all here on The Watford Way. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again very, very soon. Bye-bye.